Kelly Stafford, Matthew Stafford's wife, went public, and it caused a little bit of a drama about his relationship with younger players in the locker room. Now, what happens in the locker room should stay in the locker room. Don't tell me that made it extra comfortable for him back in the day when he said he wasn't vibing and relating to the younger players.
Are you saying it's locker room talk?
That's locker room talk. No, hey, and by the way, when I'm talking football, that's not a bad thing. That's exactly what it is.
Locker room talk.
This was locker room talk.
No! Stop it. No!
1 week away from the debate, by the way. 1 week away.
It literally was locker room talk.
It's a mess.
Huge.
Don't tell me that it was okay with everybody that was said, because it made things awkward for the team for a minute. And if not in reality for the team, everybody on the radio, social media speculated on his relationship with his teammates, and that wasn't fair for this guy.
You remember one of the first times we saw people being a little too open, where it's like, I don't know if we want this out there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it one of the OG Antonio Brown, what is he doing? Remember he went on, was it what was the social media back then? Was he on Vine Live? Remember he was in the locker room?
Friendster.
Yeah.
It was Snapchat.
It was Facebook Live.
No, it was Snapchat. Business was booming.
Oh. Well, in the Steelers locker room?
Yeah.
Wasn't he live streaming one of Mike Tomlin's Yeah, one of his.
That was on Facebook, or
I thought
it was
Snapchat.
Oh, well, whatever. Okay.
Maybe.
I think it was Snapface.
Maybe it was
Instant
Snapchat.
chat or whatever it is.
Instachat. Thank you,
yeah.
Bill Belichick.
All right,
Instachat.
we were way off.
What was it, Bill?
Instant chat or whatever it is.
Okay, cool.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, cool.
I'm not on Snapface and all that.
I know. And it's tough to date a 24-year-old when you're not on Instaface. I know. So Kelly Stafford, back to the story. Covino takes a stance that I don't. I feel like, her and Matthew have a lovely relationship. You see them together. They got a beautiful family. I don't think there's any trouble in paradise for the Staffords. They play.
I'm coming from a place of how I would feel if someone did this about me.
Listen.
For all I know, Matt Stafford thinks everything she says is great. And I'm sure that probably is the dynamic. But a guy like me is like, whoa, let me tell you what I'm about before we tell you what Kelly Stafford said now, publicly. One of my exes tried to take a picture of my feet one day. She's like, I'm posting it on social media. I'm like, no, you're not. She's like, look at your feet. I'm like, you're not. Why would you post that on social media?
And he got all mad about it.
People could get a laugh at my feet. No thanks. Why would you want to give the public ammunition? There's enough ammo out there to make you look like an ass. I don't need the person closest to me to add to that. And I know that sounds stupid, but why would you be? I don't show or expose my feet to anybody. Why would you be doing that to the public? Well, so that everyone can make fun of it, repost it, make a meme out of it?
Covino, when you were away, does that mean Rich shouldn't have told the story about your missing ball in high school?
That's fine. That's a true story. Look, if it's fun content, if it's done in fun, right, I'm all for it. We're on the radio every day. We're an open book, and that's even more reason why some people should keep things private. Everything's so open. There should be some things left amongst each other.
And really quick, back in 2017, AB was in the locker room on Facebook Live.
Oh, wow. You were right,
I was Sam.
But he was so big on Snapchat, I
that
just
is
remember
the first time Sam has been correct on our show in months.
Sam! That's not true.
Let's hear it for Sam, everybody.
I was Sam, everybody.
I'll give you an old school Facebook poke for that.
Yeah, where's the poke?
So, I think this comes down to also, I know I hate when I say this, but I guess each, situation is going to be different, because some people are like, yeah, tell my story. I feel like your younger brother gives us the thumbs up on some pretty personal stories.
Yeah, but you know what? It embarrasses my family. It does.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's not the first time he's embarrassed the family.
But for all we know, Matthew Stafford's like, yo, Kelly, we have such a great marriage. We have these lovely kids. I'm making $50 million a year. Everything's great for the Staffords. He's probably thinking, what's the biggest worry? My wife opens her mouth a bit much on her podcast and is a little gossipy, spilling the tea, as they say. Is that really the Stafford's biggest problem? I bet you he doesn't care even a little bit.
You're probably right.
But you know what? There
I'm
are
just
some
telling
people.
You I would, and I don't know how he does it.
You have to gauge the person. And I know that, again, that's so specific, because I have a buddy who I've talked about on our show for years. And I had recently told a story about him, And he got like oddly butthurt. Like, why would you say that on
Because
the
there
air?
are certain lines you don't cross, and sometimes you find the hard way what that line is.
And I was like, that you didn't want me to mention on the radio or on the podcast, but I've told these terrible stories about you, but this is where the line is. So, hey, Kelly Stafford talking about back in the day, the whole setup is because Kelly Stafford was talking about how she used a, quote, backup boyfriend to make Matthew jealous back in the day.
Wait, so was he trying to casually date and you were all in?
Yeah, girl. Anyways, long story short, it wasn't that cute of a relationship at first. I hated him. I loved him. I dated the backup to piss him off, which worked.
Yes.
He was like,
that'll do it.
He was the bad boy too. Like Matthew's so sweet and Southern gentleman and all that stuff. And the backup was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Ooh, and it upset him. So they lived in the same dorm because athletes lived in the same dorm, and he would see my car there. And so at one point he like waited and followed me out and got in my car and wouldn't get out.
Stop.
And he was
You're
like,
this is so hot.
I was like, this is amazing. It's working.
Yeah.
I was get out of my car, and he was like, he's not right for you. And I was like, what? You can't tell me that.
I think everything she said crossed no line. She said Matthew is a Southern gentleman. He's the man. He was the big man on campus. He's a stud. And she used a jealousy. She used like another guy.
She manipulated Matthew Stafford into a jealous rage to pursue her. That's really what she did.
Jealous rage.
That's manipulative. And she also used another man to make him jealous.
It's smart, I think.
It does not make Matthew Stafford look good in any way.
Right. And I believe this is courtesy of The Art of the Dialogue. Is that the name of it? Kelly Stafford, on how she reeled in Matthew Stafford. She used a backup dude to get him jealous. That's really what she was saying there. Now,
No, that shows that he was the prize.
it shows he's the prize, but you know what happens? A bad game of telephone. Because I believe Monsi and a few other people today were like, did you hear about Kelly Stafford? I'm like, what'd she say now to embarrass her husband? Oh, that she slept. That's what I heard. That she was sleeping with another dude, her backup dude to make. And that's not even what she said, but that's what turns into.
Of course, that's what she's implying. But isn't it even worse that it's the backup quarterback? Like the guy in your position trying to take your job? Like, if that's not malicious, I don't know what is.
I think.
Would you want to hook up with a linebacker?
Yeah, that's better.
I think
That's
Kelly.
better.
I think Kelly Stafford,
the kicker,
did nothing. Did nothing what other women. She did nothing different than what other women do in relationships to get a party guy to settle down.
She's not a normal girl, though.
And he's not a normal guy.
And he's not a normal guy.
I think it normalizes them as a couple.
Okay.
Listen. Clearly, don't talk about monsters.
But when this was in?
Yeah.
When was this?
That's personal.
College?
Yeah, college.
At Georgia, I think is where he went.
He's a grown man
There's
now.
nothing that,
The backup quarterback, by the way, was Joe Cox.
Even his name is offensive.
Yeah.
They were in college. It's not like they were adults and doing this. This is what college kids do.
But what does this do? Like, what does this actually do to benefit her, Matthew Stafford, their relation? What?
It humanizes their relationship and makes it relatable.
And gets her downloads on her podcast.
Yeah.
I also think it's
like every time Travis Kelce mentions Taylor Swift, I'm sure that episode has 100 million listens.
It bothers me
over
that
the
women
others.
men are so manipulated in those situations. It wasn't like I loved her, she loved me. It's like, no, she like almost tricked him into being with her. That's what I'm getting out of it. She played with his emotions by getting with this other dude. How are you not seeing that?
Everyone does that in dating.
Yeah, I don't do that.
It's the art of the game.
No, the art of the game is I'm trying to court you because I think you could be for me. I'm not trying to manipulate you into my life.
I mean, did you forget what dating was like in your high school and college and 20s?
It's not a game for me.
I knew you were in your 20s.
If I was really trying to get with somebody in a real way, I'm not talking about a fling.
People want what they can't have. Men especially.
That's a calculated way that I don't behave.
So if you're not showing the proper attention, like Monsi, let's say like we were hanging out,
okay,
and I was like really not showing you that much attention.
You're not trying to woo me?
Not trying to woo you, but
Okay.
I'm like, whatever. I want to spend time with you. Maybe I'm too cool for school.
Okay.
Then you start dating someone else. I'm going to get on my game and be like, I got to show you attention. Otherwise, this other guy's going to snatch you away.
This guy's full of baloney.
This guy's full of baloney right
So
now.
you'd be okay. So you'd be.
I know he's full of Taylor Ham. He was just in New Jersey.
Would be okay if your significant other was sleeping with someone close to you.
This guy's full of
No.
pepperoni pizza.
Here's what
Pepperoni
you're saying.
pizza.
Here's what you're saying. Because you're
Bagels.
a bonehead. You'd be okay with the woman you love sleeping with someone you're close to.
Never said sleeping.
Like
she never
Masha
said it.
said,
She
she implied it.
100% implied
She implied it.
You don't
She
walk
implied
away
it.
there with a question mark.
And that's how the story's interpreted. So she left it for interpretation.
You think you were the
so
first?
Rich would be okay if the woman he loved was using someone you knew very well to make you jealous and sleeping with that person. So you'd be okay, in other words, with your wife sleeping with me back in the day just to make you jealous.
Covino thinks that everyone he's ever dated was a virgin before him, apparently.
Are you missing the details of the story?
She never said, if Kelly Stafford went on this podcast and she's like, oh my God, guess what? Just to get Matthew and make him jealous, I like bang the whole team. She said nothing like that. She said she had a backup boyfriend that
Was
Matthew
the
was
backup quarterback.
But she
And
never
the bad
said
boy.
she never said anything about sleeping with him or disrespecting
She's implying.
Dating.
But I agree with
Hanging.
Monty. It's not what she said.
And you don't think
But
he doesn't
that's what
know
people
this
are gonna
by now?
What do you mean?
I didn't know this.
No, Matthew Stafford. You don't
but
think he
you
doesn't know this by
Do
now?
you think that he wanted the world to know that? That's something that maybe they should have kept to themselves. Maybe. Everybody's different. I'm just saying me personally. If Matt doesn't care, and I believe Rich, and I believe that he doesn't, right? Because I'm sure they've talked about it because this isn't the first time. Then it doesn't matter. But I'm telling you it would matter to me.
All right. Well, this leads me to a little something I like to call sit back, relax, and take in this great advice from COVINO Rich, because we are, besides doing a sports show here, I'll be honest, I feel like we're better relationship experts.
Well, it says it on my business card. It says Radio Tycoon Relationship Expert.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Based on Kelly Stafford's little advice on, hey, I got him by, making him a little jealous, making him think, oh, he might lose me. What are some of the tactics that you feel you would pass down to, let's say, one of the young dudes here at work or young women are like, I want some dating advice. What are some solid, generic pieces of advice that you've learned over the years?
Mine aren't manipulative. Mine are genuine, but coming from a place of I always sold women on my goals. I always sold women on what could be in my dreams. Like my girlfriend now, when she met me, I was living with my sister getting out of a divorce. I had no money. I was in debt. But I sold her on my heart and my goals. And she bought into that. I wasn't using manipulative tactics to pull her in. And I don't think she was doing that either.
Everyone.
No, not
uses
everyone.
some type of tactic to win over the person they're going after.
That shows the type of guy you are then. Not everybody. Not everyone's putting up some front just to do that. Not everybody.
It's like wild to me to think, am I talking to a different guy I knew in the 2000s?
Or you just didn't know me that well. Since when was I like a manipulative guy on that like that? Ever. I don't even think that calculated. I don't even think that far ahead. I don't even know what I'm eating later. You think I do that?
I don't know. I'm just
here's
like
what I'm
shocked by
gonna
this
do.
conversation. I'm like baffled.
No, it's true. Think of our airport meetups, though, for our business trips. Covino doesn't know what he's doing until he's there.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think...
He's not a planner.
I don't know what Danny G thinks or Samuel thinks.
Samuel.
I think they would all find you thinking this is grand odd. Yeah, I'm real happy that the woman I'm with now is sleeping with some other guy the whole time just to upset me.
Again,
How is that a positive?
Again, that was never said.
Dating, eating, whatever, hanging out, going to movies,
Whoa.
whatever.
Whoa.
Eating dinner.
Oh,
I don't know what you're
gotcha.
talking about.
No, but they didn't even say that.
Play it again, Sam. Pun intended.
How have we never used that line here?
Wait, so was he trying to casually date and you were all in?
Yeah, girl. Anyways, long story short, it wasn't that cute of a relationship at first. I hated him. I loved him. I dated the backup to piss him off, which worked.
Yes.
He was like,
that'll do it.
He was the bad boy too. Like Matthew's so sweet and Southern gentleman and all that stuff. And the backup was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Ooh, and it upset him. So they lived in the same dorm because athletes lived in the same dorm, and he would see my car there. And so at one point he like waited and followed me out and got in my car and wouldn't get out.
Stop.
And he was
You're
like,
this is so hot.
I was like, this is amazing. It's working.
Yeah.
I was get out of my car and he was like, he's not right for you. And I was like, what? You can't tell me that.
I dated the backup just to piss him off is manipulation.
He was
I don't-
casual,
and it
a
pissed
bad
him
boy
off.
that didn't want commitment.
And you know what? I think you misunderstood the story because I think when she said backup, you thought backup dude. No, the backup QB.
Well, that's even
that was
better.
his friend, and he has a horrible name. So your thoughts, 877-99 on Fox. It's just fun speculation. Am I mad at anybody? No, I'm just a passionate guy. I just know I wouldn't like that. Again, 877-99 on Fox. I don't know how you think it's sweet. Even she says and insinuates. Hold on, she insinuates it was not pretty in the beginning. Yeah, but you think this is a story written in the stars.
It's a story of romance.
No, it's not. It's not. It ended up nice, but in this moment, this story's not nice. It ended nice because they have a happy family now, but I don't see it that way at all.
Monty, really quick, do you like hearing podcasts like this? Because every time my wife plugs her phone in when we're in the same car, mid-sentence, a podcast that sounds exactly like this comes on the speakers. And she's like, oops. And the girl's like, and then I got a UTI. And my wife's like, that's a stupid episode.
Could not care less.
My wife only listens to that type of stuff, Danny, and Sarah J. Maas novels about weird stuff I have no clue about. But there's other things that we always talk about the one man to beat theory. That's manipulative. And we agree with that. The one man to beat theory, you know what that is, Monsi?
It's not manipulative. What is that? It's just goal oriented.
So if you're interested in a woman, it's better for her to be in a bad relationship than single. Like if you meet a girl that's single, you're competing
it doesn't even have to be bad.
Every other guy.
Yes.
If you meet a woman who's in a relationship, it's better because you only need to be better than her boyfriend.
That's a terrible way to think.
No, it's true because it's easier to compete against one guy than multiple men.
I never thought of this until I met my wife, and we had a mutual friend, and I was like, oh man, Sarah's got a boyfriend. And our friend was like, no, this is good because option A is she's single and there's a million guys hitting on her, or now her boyfriend's sort of lame, you're way cooler, you just need to be better than him, and ta-da!
It makes perfect sense.
The one man to beat theory. No, you gotta outdo one loser.
It's a theory based on hope and determination because so many men meet a woman who could be the one, but she's in a relationship.
Right.
We're not saying married.
Right.
She's just dating somebody, and they're like, man,
I understand.
I wish I had my shot. No, you just have one guy to beat. You actually have a tougher chance of getting with that woman if she was single.
Yes, very.
You're competing with a lot more.
No, yeah, it makes sense. It's just terrible.
That's the one man to beat theory.
All right. Well, hey, your thoughts. We can move on, but hey, Kelly Stafford, Matthew Stafford, very happy couple, successful family.
Wrap it up like this. I think when taken into real life, not everyone's wife or girlfriend has a podcast, but they might in today's world. There's certain things that aren't supposed to be brought up in mixed company, that is between you guys. And if they bring it up at the dinner table in mixed company, it's embarrassing, and you're like kicking each other in the shins to zip it.
I'll be honest, that's sort of old school thinking because I think no one has boundaries anymore, which isn't a good thing,
true.
But it's true.
That's you. You lost all your boundaries. You seem to have lost all your morals. I try to keep them in check because not everything's an open book. Not everything. And when it comes to the inner workings of your relationship, some things should be kept private. And that's for you to figure out. And I'm sure they figured that out. So again, as long as Matt doesn't care, then it doesn't matter. But it's just
Matt
fun conversation.
like you guys are boys.
He is my boy.
Yo, Matt, what's up?
It's just, again, it's a jump off of a conversation. How would you feel if your wife was saying stuff like that about you?
If it was true and it was how we met and it was part of our story.
Really? Does your wife really like to talk about how you guys met and your story? Or are there certain things that shouldn't come up?
That's my wife you're talking about, man.
Yeah, because it's personal, right?
I mean, she had a lingering dude when we met. Obviously, I just said it. So, hey, Kelly Stafford, Matt.
I think he likes to be called Matthew.
No, Covino calls him Matt. They're that tight.
I think like Kelly Stafford has spoken about he's Matthew.
I call him Matty Matt. Yo, Matty Matt.
Yo, Matty Matt. How you been?
Matty Matt. So we'll take your feedback next about Matty Matt and Kelly. I think perfectly normal banter in 2024. Covino's like, boundaries. So your thoughts, plus we'll talk some old school.
Let me tell you something. Boundaries isn't a dirty word, dude. Boundaries is what we should be practicing in our life. It's not a bad thing. Everybody should have them.
Prude. All right, Covino and Rich, we got more next here on Fox Sports Radio. Now, whether you're headed to campus to see some college basketball, meet up with old friends, show off your alma mater. Hey, honey, this is the college where I used to sleep with all these women.
That stuff you
See,
keep to
that's you
yourself.
keep to yourself.
That's not going to bring the romance closer.